The biggest comeback in combat sports history is about to happen, and it's not taking place in a regular arena or stadium. No, this time, Conor McGregor, the most famous fighter on the planet, is planning to return on the lawn of the most powerful building in the world, the White House. And Dana White just confirmed it's actually happening. But there's a twist. The opponent everyone expected is off the table. So who will McGregor fight when he steps back into the Octagon after 5 years away? This is the insane story of how a UFC event ended up at the White House and why McGregor's return might be the most controversial comeback ever. It all started on July 3, 2025, when President Donald Trump was giving a speech at a rally in Iowa. Nobody expected what he was about to say. Trump looked out at the crowd and asked, "Does anybody watch UFC?" He then mentioned his good friend Dana White and dropped a bombshell announcement. He said the UFC would be hosting a fight at the White House to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. The crowd went absolutely wild. Now, you have to understand, this was unprecedented. Nothing like this had ever been done before. Sure, the White House has hosted championship sports teams and held fancy dinners, but an actual combat sports event with people getting punched in the face on the South Lawn? That was completely unheard of. But Trump wasn't joking, and Dana White wasn't going to let this opportunity slip away. On August 29, 2025, Dana White posted on social media confirming that he just had a meeting at the White House and the fight was officially on. He said this would be a once-in-a-lifetime event, and he wasn't exaggerating. You see, the UFC had been to Washington, D.C. before, but never anything like this. The weigh-ins would happen at the Lincoln Memorial, fighters would warm up inside the White House itself, and the Octagon would be set up on the South Lawn with the American flag flying above it. The event was originally planned for July 4, 2026, but later got moved to June 14th, which just happens to be President Trump's 80th birthday and also Flag Day. Talk about perfect timing. Only around 5,000 people would be allowed to attend due to security concerns, but White said they'd set up massive screens at the nearby ellipse where 85,000 fans could watch. It was going to be the most exclusive sporting event in history, and the UFC was going to pay for everything, including the $700,000 needed to restore the White House lawn afterward. But there was one question on everyone's mind: who would fight at this historic event? The moment the White House event was announced, one name dominated every conversation: Conor McGregor. The Irish superstar hadn't fought since July 2021, and fans were desperate to see him return. McGregor had suffered a horrific leg break during his fight against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264. His shin snapped in half, and the fight had to be stopped. It was one of the most gruesome injuries ever seen in the UFC. After that, McGregor spent years recovering and teasing comebacks, but nothing ever materialized. He'd post training videos on social media, get fans excited, and then nothing would happen. His career seemed to be slipping away. But when the White House event was announced, McGregor saw his chance for the perfect comeback. In September 2025, McGregor went on TV and made it clear he wanted to fight at the White House. He said, "The Mac is back, and what better event than to grace the White House lawn?" He claimed he was ecstatic, very excited, very eager, and very motivated to make his return happen. He even said he would definitely fight at the event. Dana White loved the idea too. White appeared on multiple shows and interviews, saying that McGregor was at the top of his list to headline the White House card. He praised McGregor, saying, "People can talk all the trash they want, but when it really matters, Conor has always been that guy, the one who shows up when it counts." White wanted McGregor to make a statement, and what bigger statement could there be than returning to the White House? But McGregor needed an opponent, and everyone thought they knew exactly who it would be. Michael Chandler had been waiting for this fight for years. Back in 2023, Chandler and McGregor were coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, a reality show where they trained competing teams. The two men talked trash, got into each other's faces, and built up a legitimate rivalry.
Everyone expected them to settle it in the Octagon. The UFC scheduled the fight for UFC 306 in June 2024 during International Fight Week. It was going to be massive, McGregor's big return against a top contender who could really test him. But just 2 weeks before the event, disaster struck. McGregor broke his pinky toe in training and had to withdraw. Chandler was devastated, fans were furious, and the fight that everyone wanted to see was canceled. Chandler didn't give up, though. He kept calling out McGregor, kept saying he wanted that fight, kept training and waiting. He fought twice after that, losing both times to Charles Oliveira and Paddy Pimblett, but he didn't care. He just wanted McGregor. When the White House event was announced, Chandler immediately started campaigning for the fight. He told TMZ that Conor was the guy, and they needed to finish what they started on The Ultimate Fighter. McGregor seemed to agree. Back in September 2025, McGregor went on Fox News and made it clear he wanted to fight at the White House. He said the Mac is back, and what better event than to grace the White House lawn? He claimed he was ecstatic, very excited, very eager, and very motivated to make his return happen. He even said he would definitely fight at the event. Dana White loved the idea too. White appeared on multiple shows and interviews, saying that McGregor was at the top of his list to headline the White House card. He praised McGregor, saying, "People can talk all the trash they want, but when it really matters, Conor has always been that guy, the one who shows up when it counts." White wanted McGregor to make a statement, and what bigger statement could there be than returning to the White House?
In mid-January 2026, Dana White appeared on the Pat McAfee show and dropped a bomb that nobody saw coming. When asked about McGregor versus Chandler at the White House, White didn't hesitate. He simply said, "Nope, that's not the fight we're going with." White explained that the McGregor-Chandler fight was a couple of years ago, and he just wasn't interested in it anymore. He said, "We'll see if Conor comes back or not. We've been talking about it for a while." But when it came to fighting Chandler, the answer was a definitive no. Chandler was stunned. Fans couldn't believe it, and McGregor posted on social media that it didn't matter who they put in front of him, he'd fight anyone. But White's rejection of the Chandler fight created a massive problem. If McGregor was going to headline the White House event, who would he fight? The UFC president said he wouldn't start building the card until February, which meant matchmaking was happening right now as we speak. With Chandler off the table, the speculation went into overdrive. Names started flying around left and right, each one more interesting than the last. First, there was the rematch everyone's been talking about, Nate Diaz. McGregor and Diaz fought twice back in 2016, with each man winning one fight. Their trilogy has been rumored for years, and what better stage than the White House? The only problem? Diaz isn't signed to the UFC anymore. He's been boxing and doing his own thing. Then Jorge Masvidal entered the conversation. Masvidal is a huge name in MMA, known for his knockout power and trash talk. He recently turned down a boxing match and then did an interview where he hinted at something very big coming soon. He said he couldn't confirm or deny if it was McGregor, but added that he's Trump's favorite fighter and people would find out in about 10 days. The timing was suspicious, and fans started connecting the dots. Another name that popped up was Max Holloway. Blessed is one of the best fighters in the world, and he has history with McGregor from back in the day. A fight between them would be incredible for the fans. Plus, Holloway is coming off some huge wins and is on top of his game. Even more surprising was Mauricio Rufy, a rising lightweight prospect. Rufy recently revealed that McGregor himself mentioned him as a potential opponent, saying two top-level strikers would sell better than fighting someone coming off multiple losses. It was a shocking revelation and showed that McGregor might be thinking outside the box. And according to UFC analyst Chael Sonnen, the one fighter who's guaranteed to be on the White House card is actually Michael Chandler, just not against McGregor. Chandler has been vocal about wanting alternatives, like a rematch with Paddy Pimblett, or fighting for the BMF title against Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira. But here's the truth. We're in February 2026 right now, and Dana White said matchmaking for the White House card would be done by the end of this month. That means within the next few weeks, we should know exactly who McGregor will fight. So why is this White House event such a big deal? Well, it's not just about one fight. This event represents something much larger.
The UFC has grown from a banned sport that couldn't get on TV to hosting an event at the most famous residence in the world. It shows how far combat sports have come. The event is costing the UFC over $21 million to produce, more than what they spent on their crazy Sphere show in Las Vegas last year. They're handling everything themselves. Since the White House is on federal land, the normal Washington, D.C. Athletic Commission won't even regulate it. The UFC is essentially self-regulating, which is wild when you think about it. There will be no public tickets available. The 5,000 people at the White House will be special guests, VIPs, politicians, celebrities, and UFC insiders. But the 85,000 fans watching on the big screens at the Ellipse will create an electric atmosphere unlike anything we've seen before. The event will air on Paramount Plus as part of the UFC's massive $7.7 billion media rights deal with CBS and Paramount. It's being positioned as a patriotic celebration of America's 250th anniversary, mixed with the raw excitement of cage fighting. But let's be real, the entire event hinges on one man, Conor McGregor. If he shows up and fights, the White House card will be the biggest event in UFC history. If he pulls out again as he did against Chandler in 2024, it would be a disaster. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on all the latest MMA news, especially when they announce McGregor's opponent, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single update.